It's not magic. It's not gonna, you know, just take everything away and then you're gonna feel like a brand new human being. Hi guys, so today we're gonna be speaking about a question that I get asked quite a bit, which is, what do we need to know about CBD oil? And I'm so happy to see some of you coming on. That is awesome. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Today I'm going to be just running through 5 things that I think are important for you to know about CBD. So what are the 5 things that you absolutely need to know? And these are basics. This is like CBD 101. I hope that you learned something today, and I hope that you perhaps can understand a little bit more about what CBD is and what its role is in our health and wellness. So, hello, Ethan. Nice to have you.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. That's so awesome that you could join us tonight. So, Ethan is joining me on this live, and he's from Cannachi, and Cannachi is a company that makes cannabis products, essentially. And I'm just going to run through the 5 things that I think everybody should know about CBD. And Ethan, feel free to jump in whenever you want to add something. I think this is going to be a really nice conversation to go back and forth. So the first thing that I think that is important to address is the difference between CBD and THC. So I think part of the reason why CBD products and cannabis products in general have been given a bad rap is because of the idea that, you know, when you take these products, you may experience the high, and maybe some people are looking for a high in a legitimized form. Now, there are definitely benefits of THC. I do appreciate that. But tonight, focusing on CBD, the difference between CBD and THC, very importantly, is that CBD is a component of cannabis and of hemp, but it doesn't have the psychoactive effects, am I right, Ethan, that THC has. So THC is actually the one that's going to produce that high, that's going to make you feel like, you know, you're floating on a cloud or whatever. But the CBD product, the CBD in the oil really doesn't have that psychoactive component in it. And I think it is important for people to know and realize that there is that distinction between CBD and THC.
It seemingly has endless possibilities to it, both the cannabis and the hemp.
Yes.
But to start out, we all have an endocannabinoid system. I know that's a hot topic of late,
yes.
And there's a lot of individuals that are getting into it.
Yes.
So when we consume like hemp seeds, hemp hearts, hemp protein powders, or French share joint, or that happen to take the CBD oil, basically the molecule cannabidiol is primarily going to the brain and the nervous system first.
Yes.
So those are what we call our CB1 receptors. And then CB2 receptors, receptor sites are our peripheral organs. And it's absolutely amazing to see the balance and functionality.
Yeah.
So when we talk about CBD, yes, it's a beautiful component in itself, but we must remember that there's other things like CBG, CBN, that also play important roles. So part of the question is, okay, THC, yes, everyone's making the comparison of the two.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, there's other components as well. Tetrahydrocannabidiol, absolutely amazing. Obviously, there's a craze all around the world. But yes, like you had mentioned, psychoactive, euphoric, high, stoned, whatever everybody wants to call it.
Yes.
How, us and our team like to describe it is, what it's doing is it's assisting in heightening our senses, so touch, taste, smell. So when we're having that juicy, meal, we just fully engulfed in it, fully experienced in the moment. It brings us more to the now. Yes, that's a part of it.
Yeah, so you touched on my next point, actually, which was to go into a little bit more about the endocannabinoid system. So for those of you who are aware of biology, I'm sure you've heard of the circulatory system, you've heard of the respiratory system, the nervous system, the immune system. But one of the things that we don't ever hear about is the endocannabinoid system. I certainly didn't learn about the endocannabinoid system at medical school. And this is something that is getting a lot of spotlight recently, and you may have heard of this buzzword, the endocannabinoid system. And really the system is throughout our bodies, as you said, right? We have an endocannabinoid system. It's probably one of the biggest systems in our body, and it really controls and impacts all the other systems in our body, which is why it's so fascinating that CBD and THC operate in the endocannabinoid system. And the fact that we actually have receptors in our bodies for these things is just mind-blowing. And so part of what the endocannabinoid system does is it helps to bring balance. And I think that's really where CBD comes in a lot of the time with regards to calming things down, restoring what's called homeostasis, which homeostasis basically means balance. So if you have, for example, a blood pressure that's too high, you'll have a problem. If your blood pressure is too low, you'll have a problem. But in the middle, which is a normal blood pressure, is where we want to keep it, and that's called homeostasis. So everything in your body needs to be functioning in a nice balance. Same as with your hormones, same as with your immune system. You don't want to over-functioning immune system, but you also don't want to under-functioning immune system. And what CBD does is it helps to bring balance within the body, in all the systems in the body, from the nervous system to the immune system, to even with regards to your emotional state. CBD has been found to be quite helpful in people with things like depression and anxiety. And so, yeah, so that's point number 2, is that CBD acts on the endocannabinoid system, which we all have an endocannabinoid system in our bodies. And so it's important to just kind of keep that in mind. And yes, perhaps, yeah, maybe moving on, Ethan, to the next point about CBD, which is what it can be used for.
The main thing is, okay, yes, I hear that it's able to alleviate me of the anxiety or stress, or, you know, there's some medical conditions, you know, that are correlating to it, that they just want to ease off on. So, you know, the CBD oils, known as a very good antioxidant as well, so it helps, supports the kidneys, the liver, and it helps cleanse out those toxins and heavy metals as well, through the body. So it just depends on, you know how cluttered the body is, but, you know, really effective in that way. And, you know, a lot of beings, are starting to recognize the fact that you know, inflammation is most the cause of the dis-ease and disharmony in our body. So CBD plays such an important role in bone building. So I have a very firm belief that if we've got the most solid part of our body getting the nourishment and it's starting to regain in its you know, capacity, you know, the rest of the body's definitely and most certainly getting that. And yeah, so that's just a couple of you know, topics that we have. A lot of people utilize it during the course of the day for stressful work environments or anxiety. Some people utilize it for sleep and things. So,
but the bottom line, I think, is that the science is only now catching up with what this powerful medication can actually be used for. And so some of the places where people are, where scientists are studying CBD would be in things like anxiety and depression, because it does tend to help to balance the emotional state. Definitely with things like pain, certain patients have noticed an improvement in pain, whether they're taking the oil orally or whether they're applying the oil. And then things like chronic inflammation, so any disease, as you mentioned, Ethan, that triggers chronic inflammation, it has been shown to be helpful in those situations. And then immune system boosting as well. So you mentioned it being an antioxidant. It's also considered an adaptogen, which means that it basically goes in and tries to bring balance to the areas in your body where you are out of balance. And so those are some of the areas and spaces where CBD has been studied and where it has been shown to be useful. Arthritis, for example, is another good example of a chronic inflammation where it tends to help. And important also is that CBD is not a cure-all, guys. It's not magic. It's not gonna, you know, just take everything away and then you're gonna feel like a brand new human being. It's not a cure-all, but it certainly helps to promote and sustain health. And I think that's important. And I think on that point also, you know, not only using the oil, but also adopting a healthy lifestyle is very, very important. So good nutrition, exercise, clear mindset, rest and relaxation, meditation, you know, whatever it takes for you to manage your stress, what's very important. And so the final thing that I want to discuss is like finding a product that is actually a reputable and a good product. So I want to give you just a few pointers if anybody's looking to purchase a product, a CBD oil, just a few things that you have to bear in mind, just to avoid exposing yourself to perhaps harmful chemicals and things that could actually make your situation worse instead of help. And I think it's important because I think that in this situation, at the moment, CBD is really being used as a supplement and a health supplement. But there are a lot of products out there, and it seems like everybody and their grandmother is selling CBD nowadays. And so you just have to be careful about where you're getting your products from. So one of the things that I think is vitally important is to have a certificate of analysis. I think that, and what that is really is where the oil is put through its paces and it's tested in a laboratory, and you get documented proof that what is in the oil is pure. And nowadays, a lot of people are doing things like diluting the oils, adding all kinds of things like heavy metals and toxins and preservatives and all kinds of things that taint the oil. And actually, I was listening to an episode of Dr. Oz earlier, and they were saying that they did a test on something like 800 products in the States, and they found that 75% of those products had very little CBD in them. So it's very important to make sure that you are buying a pure oil. So the certificate of analysis is so important. The second thing I think that's very important is the extraction method. I think that you can definitely change and alter the quality and the caliber of the oil if you're using an extraction method that is not proper. And maybe Ethan, you can speak a little bit about that just now. And then the third thing that I think is important with regards to buying a product is that it is in a glass container and that it is opaque, so that you're not, so that it's not being affected by the sun. And then the final thing is that products that are good are not cheap. So if the product is cheap, you can pretty much bet that it's not a good product. And so those would be my tips, you know, for anybody who's out there looking for a CBD product to buy. And maybe Ethan, you can just add on to that if you like, with regards to what to look out for, yeah?
Absolutely amazing. Wow. The certificate of analysis, most certainly agreed there. You know, if the raw material of the CBD oil extract is being imported, you know, then from one side you're getting that certificate of analysis. You want to know how and what the growing conditions are. So as a business owner, we want to look at, you know, their product uses as well, and what they're utilizing on the farm itself.
Yes.
And then from their side, of course, they have reputable certificate of analysis, the heavy metals, and all the rest.
Yes.
The industry is ever growing. I think it's important to double check your work and you know, what's come in from your supplier.
Yes.
If you're going that route. You know, that leads me into the next point, and you know, that's what you meant earlier about the charlatans. You know, we also have a similar statistic to which America is, you know, currently having. That's new to my ears, so thanks very much for that. But yeah, there was you know, a report released, you know, mid-year this year, about 60% of the CBD in the country. Being not actually what they're claiming to be or as strong as it is.
Wow,
so, you know,
60%. Wow, that's high.
Yeah,
that's high,
yes.
guys.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
when it comes to the extraction methods, you know, I saw that there was a pregnant comment earlier. You know, to us, that's very, very important that, yes, you can utilize CBD oils, preferably over the CO2 extracted method. You know, there's cutane that people utilize, turfs. So you talk about the charlatans and benzene as well. You know, these are actual methods, and you know, those solutions aren't simmered off properly or done in the proper extraction methods themselves, or you know, the material's not sourced right.
Yes.
So you know, that can leave a lot of residual heavy metals and the likes on there. So there's actually on the other extreme as well, where you know, the retail industry is being overcharged, and yeah, we want to get a quality product at a quality price. Most certainly so. Yes.
Well, You heard it here, guys. Oh, so thank you so much, Ethan, for joining me today.
Dr. Carmen, thank you very much.